What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Detail Garage. Previously, we mentioned that we're doing a full-blown detail on this Nissan GTR, and we're going to cover every step of the chemical guy's detailing flowchart. Now, we've already washed it, and that took care of all that loose dirt and debris. Now we're going to move on to the claying process. This car does sit outside a lot, so it's got a whole lot of contamination in the paint. It's hard to tell if you look at it, but if you listen, that rough sound is just things that have embedded themselves in the pores of the paint, and it's dulling out the finish, and it's also, affecting the overall look of the vehicle. So to take care of that, I'm going to use our medium clay bar. Now we carry 4 different kinds of clay bar. We have the light, the original, the medium, and the heavy. The light wouldn't be enough for this. The original might take care of it, but I want to get it for sure. That's why I'm going with the medium one. And the heavy would be just too much. So all you have to do is take a small portion of the clay bar and then knead it up into a small patty. And since you're doing this by hand, you only need to cover about 2 or 3 fingers, making it to a small disc, which is easy to maneuver over the whole surface. Now, since this is very sticky, I like to spray the surface, and then I'll spray the actual clay bar, and then I'll spray my hand just so it doesn't stick to me. And then you want to work it back and forth in straight lines, giving light pressure. And you want to avoid going in circles, because if you do pick up a rock or a stick or anything, if you go in a circle, it's going to create a swirl, which is a lot easier to see and a lot harder to remove as opposed to a straight line scratch. So at first, when you start claying, it's either going to start dragging or you'll hear that rough sound. But as it pulls the impurities out of the paint, it'll start to get smoother and it'll just start gliding across the finish. So one thing to keep in mind is, of course, you can clay your painted surfaces, but you can also clay your glass and your clear optical plastic on your headlights. Now, things like your headlights that get embedded, rock chips or things that land on them like tree sap, and then it's going to give it that rough feel, and then it'll also start to, prematurely fail the optical plastic. So you want to get all that kind of stuff off before you do any kind of waxing or polishing. So as you're claying, you're pulling off impurities and it's getting stuck in your clay bar. You may not be able to tell, but there's this brown ridge going on here. This is all the crap that I'm pulling out of the paint. You want to go ahead and knead up or roll your patty just so you're not rubbing that back into the surface. And also that brings up a good point. I almost dropped this clay bar. This is like a piece of gum. If you drop this, you have to throw it away. You can't put this back on the paint because this will pick up any kind of crap that's on the ground. And if you start rubbing that in your paint, it's just going to start scratching. I'm going to use these green happy ending towels. They're great because they're super plush, which will pick up all the product without streaking. And also, since they're edgeless, they're not going to create any new scratches or swirls. Now, before I start buffing off, or before you use any new towel, you want to remove the tag. This way you're not dragging that across the paint, installing fresh swirls and scratches. And you just want to wipe off in one direction. Pick up all the product for a nice, perfectly dry surface. So as I'm buffing off, I can feel that the surface is really smooth, it's really slick, and that's what you want to feel. You want to make sure that you got all the impurities out of the paint. I'll go ahead and run my hand against it so you can hear the difference between like the clayed side and the non-clayed side. And that's a really slick finish. That's what you want to hear, and that's what you're going to need before you do any kind of glazes, polishes, or if you're going to wax the vehicle, it has to be completely clean. So now that I've got this small section done, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of the vehicle. Alrighty guys, it really is that simple to get your paint feeling right. By using the medium clay bar, I was able to pull off all the impurities that were stuck in the paint and then get that paint feeling slick and smooth again. So as I mentioned before, this is part of the whole full-blown detail following our flow chart. We started off by washing it, this was claying it, next is going to be polishing. So stay tuned when we bring the GTR back in the detail garage and get this paint looking its best. We'll see you guys next time.